We'll use this in a sentence. Mataji will use a sentence that asks a question. Is Krishna beautiful? Yes, is. Is a verb, an action word. In this case, it's actually a being verb. It tells what something, a state of being, is. So now we will touch the sounds on our hand. The first sound is I, and the second sound is z. All right, let us see how that's written. Our first sound is I. Again, we make a short straight line. Everyone say? Short straight line. And we put a dot in the middle of the space, directly above it, not to the right, not to the left, right in line, so there's no confusion. Now we have to construct the phonogram SZ. This is a hard one. So repeat the mantra. Start at 2, curve up to the line, curve over to 10, swing around to 4, touch the bass line, and curve up to 8. Now this phonogram is a consonant that makes 2 sounds. Do you remember this phonogram? SZ? Which sound is it? S or Z? Z. So what do we do now? We put a 2 above it. Very good. We write a 2 directly over SZ to show it's not pronounced is. It's pronounced how? Is. Can you say is, Nishananda? Okay, Radharani, maybe you can be a little bit more directive with him. His lines and, just try to, you have to monitor. If you let them just do what they want to do, then it all just deteriorates very rapidly. A lot of monitoring, a lot of coaching, they need a lot of, remember Wilkinson said, they need a lot of encouragement at the beginning. Because either because of inability, it'll disintegrate, or just because of apathy, which is even more deadly. So you have to encourage so that you overcome the tendency for apathy. And then the more something is done incorrectly, that becomes the impression, the samskara. You want to encourage good samskaras. Okay? It's not that they're cute and anything is okay. That's not going to develop a very, very, very gifted child. Always monitor, encourage the right thing, and if you have to be reproaching once in a while, they know that you mean well. But the idea is we're here for precision for their sake. Okay? And guess what? Our last spelling word is she. All right? We will use this in a Krishna conscious sentence. All right? Our sentence, our Krishna, everyone say the word she. She. Our Krishna conscious sentence will be about Radharani. All right? When Radharani cooks, she makes different dishes every time for Krishna. Every time. She. Let us say the sounds on our hand now. The first sound is the fixed combination sh. The second sound is the vowel sound e. She. All right? This is our last spelling word today. We've done a lot today. We've learned how to write. We've learned the marking system, and we've applied it to 10 of the first spelling words in the Ayers list, section A through G. Repeat the mantra with me as we do the first fixed combination now. This is what we have, our first fixed combination. Let's start with the mantra, 2 o'clock. Touch to the line. Over to 10. Around to 4. Up to 8. Now you notice how we had this phonogram in the last word? Right? You see, everything is systematic. But now it's used in a fixed combination. It'll actually blow your mind when you see. It's called PI, Programmed Instruction. There are whole books like that, where you can take a whole grammar course and it's just done by, if I do this, then the next step is obvious. Our next phonogram, part of the fixed phonogram is a tall straight line. This is a 2-letter fixed combination. Retrace up to 10. Touch the midpoint, over to 2, and drop down to the baseline. Now this is a fixed combination. Who knows what I have to do? I have to underline it. And remember, we leave a little bit of a white space. We don't put it directly on the line. I have to underline this. That was the first sound we heard, sh, the plain one. The second sound we heard was E. Sh, E. This is the vowel sound, right? The vowel, E. Here it says its name. We start in the middle with a horizontal line. From 9 to 3. Retrace up to 2. Touch the line. Over to 10. Down to 8. Touch the bass line. Up to 4. Now this is a vowel that says its name at the end of a small word. Who knows what happens? See? I told you they'd figure it out by now. We underline the E because the vowel says its name at the end of a small word. Sh-E. And we leave a little bit of space. Drop a straight line and go back up to 10. Curve over to 2. Put a period. Shows abbreviation. I'm running out of space here. I have to squish the... And we make a 1.5 space numeral 4. Numeral is the correct term. Number means quantity. Numeral means symbol. This has to be understood in math. They're different. If I say number 4, that's pretty good. Maybe Mataji can help you clean up the E a little bit. And his 4. I think that's a little bit rough. Okay, very good. Ball, could you hold that up so Mataji in the back can see? His first day. Very good. You want to hold it? Your 4 is too big. Gandharvika, it's two spaces.
4 was small.
4, yeah. The 4 is too small or too big. The 4, the numeral 4, now she has to do her underlining. But Mataji, she's not underlining. You have to be on top of that. So let her do it. Let her do it. You didn't underline. Your markings. Your markings aren't. See, you're not following with us. This is it. This is what happens. They start going ahead and then they miss out. Shh. E, rule 4. Much better. All right. And let's see. Good. Rule 4. Shh. Perfect. Yours is perfect. Shh. E, rule 4. How about Tanvi? Did she get it right? I tell you, the magic slate's a good thing. It's a big giveaway. You can see right off the bat what's wrong. Otherwise, you walk around the room, you get tired, and then you overlook patterns that are going off track. All right, so today we have accomplished in 3 hours how to teach the handwriting, all the letters. And we learned the features, too. We learned how to do the markings, and we have applied them to 10 words. From this point on, you're going. All you do is keep going. Tomorrow we will do other rules. We'll skip wherever I see a new rule that's being introduced, we'll do those words. Okay? So we'll just try to cover all the words, the rules through new words. But as far as the spell this goes, there's nothing else. We can do the silent E's again. We'll do the silent E's again, because that's very important. Okay, everybody clear? You've got your phonogram CD now. If you don't have a computer, maybe in the morning they can play it a little bit before they come. You can play the phonograms. You can practice, if it's too slow, it takes 16 minutes from the beginning to the end. You can try to practice writing them. The only problem is that the computer uses a different font from this. That's the problem. It's a print font, like a Times font. Any questions before we dismiss? Everybody clear? Everybody sold on it? Very good. Sri Ananta was very worried, but I said, I'm not worried because I know once it gets going, it's understood. It goes very fast. So tomorrow we will, 1 hour on any words that introduce a pronunciation rule. And we will then start moving. Your 4 is too big, dropping below. And did she underline? Namaste Saraswati Devi Govani Pacharine Namaste Shri Hari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasani Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 367 Alhamdulillah basis, the fun to couple the videos. Keep us in the year, the chapter. And I hope that in the course of my teaching and training and coaching and approaching, that everybody pardons any offenses, because as a teacher you have to take the assertive role. So I hope you know that down deep in my heart, everything I'm doing is to try to help everybody. Okay. So I think for the first test today, I have two options. What I want to do first is that we can give everybody a minute just to revise the column with your peer tutor. Or if we think we're ready for a bigger challenge, we'll go across. Go across. People say, I think we can go across. All right. Now, the way we did tests, we took a piece of paper like this big piece of paper, because we have to give you the preparation now. And remember, initially, as you saw in the earlier video, I used guidelines for middle, upper, and lower zones initially, because it's really hard. You could even see yesterday how many times we had to say 4 as 1.5 spaces. It takes a while to click. So until they get a sensation for proportion, then I always use the guidelines. So what you'll do now is take your piece of paper and line it up and fold it in half one time like this. Okay. Now, this is how we also did the first few sections of the spelling list, too. We took a page, folded it in half, because when the words are very small, you can get 20 words on a page. Afterwards, you can only get 10. So now we'll just, so for the phonograms, because we'll also do some spelling on this today, take the first page, not the second one, and fold the first page one more time. Because for phonograms, economy of paper is smart. And we did regular strip tests with the kids. You know, every day we would do a column and we would check for handwriting, and that way, constant revision every week. Every 7 days, we were being retested until we were absolutely certain handwriting was mastered and the phonograms were mastered. Okay. So the first sheet of your little two-page sheet is for your phonograms quiz, and you can get 8 columns here. And then this will be for your first spelling test. We'll have a spelling test today, and then we have the first 10 words today. So that way we can get an idea of how everybody's doing. And basically how the teacher's doing, because according to Wilkinson, the teacher is the one who has to bear the brunt of the assessment results, not the students, not the students' fault. Okay? So, if with your pencil, this is preparatory now, and again, some of you have seen the video, some of you have not, because before we had someone here, and Seva Murti was in on that video too. So I start with the red line, and then I count 1, 2, and then I put a little X on the third line, okay? And then you say 1, 2, and then you put a tiny little X on the next third line. And then you count 1, 2, and then you say X on the third line. Just a tiny light one. So you go 1, 2, and then the next one you put a little X. Then you go 1, 2, and then you put an X there. And you go 1, 2, X. And 1, 2, X. And 1, 2, X. And 1, 2, X. And 1, 2, X. Take it all the way to the bottom of the page. 1, 2, X. That takes us to the last one. This is examination size paper. You can get this in the market. Okay? Do you have any question? Now, there's a tip here. A couple of warnings. Make sure the children don't use pencil and pressure on their magic slates. They will puncture. You all figured that one out? If you puncture it, the magnetic field is, the filings come out. So the magic slate should always be protected. All right? They should not be pressed on or written on or really overly used unless necessary. You know, they too have a lifespan. So like a computer, take care of them because they're costly. Okay? It's also good for paper on desk surfaces and whatever. Sometimes in schools, desks have, you know, the wood surface is not so even, or even if it's a Formica, maybe because of use, there are grooves in the surface. So I think the 2 pages is good, but sometimes putting padding underneath your paper helps ensure smooth writing, right? So you just don't come along and suddenly your pencil hits the ditch like the road here just before we get to the hospice, and you know, everything goes flying. So if you don't have 1 or 2 sheets here, you know, put something underneath so that everything looks as what shall I say, as professional as possible. And you also have to think, how can I structure my assignment so that the results are going to be the optimum? It's a lot of it's management and planning. You know, if you've planned it, then the results will be at their optimum, and the child is able to realize his optimum. If you give him difficult circumstances, you know, like a rough desk and bad pencils and no lighting and whatever, obviously he's less likely to perform at his optimum. So we're here to help them realize their material potential. And you can see, actually, they're all doing very, very nicely, going beyond what would be normal expectations or regular expectations. Okay, so if you have a little time, then you can go across here to where you have a fold, and you can go down quickly. Now you've got the marks, right? Go across, and you can put X's on the other 3 columns, additional 3 columns. So we have 4 columns here, and that way we know exactly where the baseline, the X represents the baseline of the middle zone. And I do find, even for adults, even though in her book she doesn't say to use guidelines for the middle zone or the middle zone, I do, because I find people need to get established in a feel for relationship at first. And then as they have an eye, they've developed an eye and they can calculate, then you can use the 1 space for 2 space letters, and then half of that for the single space letters. But right off the bat, especially for youngsters, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, they need help. And that's even the adults. Sometimes adults, if they're not artistically inclined, the proportions aren't so correct. Okay, so your first testing page should have 4 folds, 4 columns, and an X on every 3rd line all the way down. Just light. That will be the baseline. Okay? Sound good? And parent teachers, now check your student. I'll be checking to see if you're monitoring your student, because you'll have to, in a few days, you'll be back home and you're on your own. Monitoring also is constant reinforcement of everything we've learned to date. The sitting position, the paper position, the pencil position, feet on the floor, back straight, head straight. You should go through those mantras regularly. You know, that's where the little pink book is handy. You can keep the pink booklet out, and you can say, all right, let's go again, revise. We sit straight, our neck is high, our feet are on the floor. And as you refer to the book, it's like Wilkinson said, the teacher takes the scriptural role. So that's true of any reference that you're using. This may not be the Vedas, but at least it's the reference for a skill. And that way the child accepts that the teacher's injunctions are not whimsical. That the teacher is pointing out what the procedures require and why. All right? So now I think we're just about prepared this far. Okay, and the paper will be At a 45-degree angle, the left hand will be in the upper portion. This is a chance now to actually put our skills into, our training skills into action. I wish we could get Nityananda a little higher here. He's tiny, huh? It's hard on the eyes, actually, to be Put him up a little higher. Can we do that? Let's move it. Yeah, let's raise him up a bit. So because his eyes are right here, and that's another thing. Keep watching out for the physical safety of your children. If the conditions are ideal, if they're not only that they're following rules, but that you're trying to accommodate him. So each child is again working at his optimum, because he's quite small. That's good, Nityananda. And we want you to be able to be a little bit above your paper, so you can see. That's better. Oh, no, that's good. Yeah, he was down there. That's going to develop eye strain really fast. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Everybody okay? Backs are straight. I see it. Actually, when I think about how we met 2 weeks ago, and as of today, I see a tremendous difference. Right? We're all, and thanks to Anita, we have desks so we can actually function. Right, thanks to you, whoever we thank. We thank you again and again and again. Actually, when Aruda said she thought everybody was meeting in my room, and I said, no, we're at the hospice in a classroom. Really? She said, yeah. And I said, and the school sent us desks. Really? I said, we have over 20 people here. I didn't do the count. She said, oh, she said, this sounds serious. Okay. So our plan will be, I will set the timer for 1 minute, and you as peer tutors now, remember you're both learners, the adult and the child. So each of you have a minute to practice. We'll do them row at a time across. We're not going to surprise you and do a total mix-up. But this is a little more challenging, and I asked first, did you want to go just down like this? But the problem with this is it can be a little bit repetitious, too easy. We don't want too easy, we don't want too hard. So we'll go across. So I'll set the timer for 1 minute, and the peer tutors, one is an adult and one is in some cases 2 adults, and then Damodar, you and the cameraman. Okay. So peer tutor each other, and then you have to hide your phonogram sheet somewhere. So or maybe put it under. Okay, I think it'll cover it. I think it'll cover it. No peeking. No peeking, okay?
Yeah.
All right? So we'll set the timer. Is everybody ready now? You have 1 minute to test yourselves on the first row. We will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quick quizzes. So the whole thing should take about, yes, we're going to try this. This is a moderate challenge. Maximum challenge would be all over the place. Totally mixed up. But that's too much for you. And there would be no time for practice. That would be just like that. Yeah. You have to revise B, K, S, A, is a nurse. A, the 2-letter A you cannot use. This is what? U, K, the 2-letter K, E, I, E, and J, the 3-letter J. Go backwards and forwards, both of you. All right? Yes. 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 After you revise together, I will read them right across. And you write it. Yes. This is your first written phonogram test. Yes. I will. After you practice, I will say B, and then I will say K. And I will do it in order. I'm not going to mix it up. You see, we'll start with an easy thing. You don't want to really push the panic button right away, because then they feel overwhelmed. But we'll go across, because you do have some hard ones here. You have U, A, the 2-letter A, is a nurse. Okay? Is 1 minute enough? Maybe first test 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We'll see how that works. I just want to get a lot done today. Okay, go ahead, 2 minutes to revise. Ready, script.
I think first talk
Okay, put your papers in front of you. Remember, never write on top of the magic slate, it might puncture. You can see how valuable the magic slate is for revision. Very valuable, especially for maths and handwriting, spelling. You know, just they can practice without wasting paper. And you can see the results right away. Okay, our first phonogram, everything must be quiet. Shh. Pin drop silence. Yes, you must hide your phonogram sheet under your test paper. Do not peek. Keep your phonogram sheet under your test paper. Paper at a 45-degree angle on your desk. Hands. Upper hand across the top, right hand. Forearm parallel with the right edge of the paper. Pencil held like a kitten's paw. And the little finger, you can almost see a space in there. This is like a pivot. I should bring the calligraphy book, because that I know you haven't photocopied. That's brilliant. And you see these professionals, how they're it's like ballet dancers. They're pivoting like this as they move along and making perfect strokes with the old dip quill pen. You know, they don't have rapidographs and all that. And masters, and they're producing flawless pages with no dribbles. Unbelievable, actually expertise beyond words. All right, our first phonogram. Everyone say it as you hear, after you hear it, and then quietly write it. Okay? Your first phonogram is the consonant B. Now, just as this is a little harder yesterday because we haven't had any practice directly on the paper, we are skipping a few practice steps, but for the sake of time, we need to move on. Just as you did on your magic slate, if it's a two-space letter, you start in the upper zone. Okay, B. And then when you're ready, show me by sitting up, and then I can scan the room to see if we're ready for the next phonogram. I think Bhakti's starting to get really into it, and she's talking and everything back there. Good for her.
Motherji, can you erase it?
Erase it?
Erase it if it's wrong?
Oh, of course you should have erasers. That's part of it. Keep those white, Nataraj eraser. But you should be so expert by now that you just do it right. Because erasing makes things look gray and it tears paper. So you want to be so expert.
I'm not sure, that's why I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll drop down to the next X for the next phonogram. Right, we're going down. Okay. In other words, your first phonogram will be here. Okay, and then you'll come down for the next one. We're going to go down, yeah. We're going to come down. So for the next phonogram, you'll drop down to the next X. That's the next baseline, okay? Your next phonogram is the consonant K. Everyone say it? Consonant K. Okay, please write it. Shh. Nice position there, Rasika. Perfect. She's sitting properly. Her hand is right. Very good. Very good. You'll be amazed how their whole personalities change, actually. If they're given proper procedures, their personalities will become very mature. Very mature. Point. It's a test.
Asking, there are some doubts.
Oh, some doubts about what to do. Okay.
You are going other than that.
All right. The next phonogram, as we go, everyone ready? Seated? Done with second phonogram? Third phonogram on the quiz is Z. Two sounds. Z. So you write that on the third X space. X denotes the bass line. Z. Our next phonogram, be sure you put your hand at the top of the paper. That's perfect. Our next phonogram is the vowel phonogram a, o. We want to turn these into Sri Ananta today. I saw him today. He looked a lot happier. He's like waiting outside the maternity room to see what happens with this class. Our next phonogram, as in nurse. Everyone repeat. As in nurse. We're halfway through our first quiz. The next phonogram, A. The two-letter A that we cannot use at the end of an English word. Everyone say? A. The two-letter A that we cannot use at the end of an English word. You know, cameraman, you may want to videos, I mean, I don't know, I'm no expert, maybe you want to catch this mood because everybody's being so serious. This may never happen again. No, we're teasing. This will happen every time. A, the two-letter A that we cannot use. You were not here for our drills, so this will be a little tough for you. Yeah. Did you have a chance to look at the CD? No. CD will help you a lot. All right. Our next phonogram is a very difficult one. This is probably one of the two harder ones. Ooh, you. That you can use at the end of an English word. You see, it's one thing to look at something and recognize it, but it's another to write it from recall. This is more difficult. If they can do this, ooh, you, that we can use at the end of an English word. Our next phonogram is an easy one. It's the fixed combination K. The two-letter K. Oh, I forgot to remind everyone that all phonograms that are fixed combinations must be underlined. So go back if you've been overlooking that. It's an important habit because in the spelling list it will facilitate rapid reading and correct spelling. And already one of the participants said she saw the K, the two-letter K today on somebody's hat. You'll see it everywhere now. You will not see letters anymore. Letters are, yeah, I know. See, that's what that little girl Krishna Priya did. She was 3 and she goes to the MBT restaurant and she just started reading the menu. People were shocked. She just started reading all the big part, the heavy, the bolder print. K, the two-letter K. If you don't know, you just write a line through the space to show I don't know this. Okay. I don't know this one. The ninth one is a fixed combination. E, I, I. E, I, I. This is one of the hard ones, yeah. E, I, I. It's important to draw a line through the space if you don't know it so that you don't get them out of order and then you miss everything. That can happen on standardized tests. The kid starts putting numbers, circles on the wrong spaces, then he misses everything. It helps you position where you are. And the last phonogram is J, the three-letter J. Everyone say? The three-letter J. We should ask everybody to keep a red pencil here for the test, because what we do is we usually switch papers. I do a lot of peer work. Tutors, switching papers, checking. It saves teacher time, and it raises student accountability as well as awareness. So we have the 10th of the first 7 little quizzes here. So what we're going to have you do now, without making changes, because I want Sri Ananta to get this first batch. This is our first test. Yes, you underline any phonogram that's more than one letter. Right, you have to underline it. So now go back, and you can take your thing and you check. Everyone that's correct, you don't put a mark, right? And if one of them is wrong, after that phonogram, we use, it was the reverse in the West. We would, a tick mark meant it was right, not wrong. Here, a tick mark. So do this. If it's wrong, if you missed it, afterwards, just put a tiny little X. All right? Just a little X. That means this one needs to be studied. We don't want to change it or erase it right now, because this is diagnostic. Like the doctor, if he sees the blood pressure is too low, he has to prescribe medicine. If you're missing something, this is good, because this means I practice this one. You see? And the other ones are strong. Okay, is there anyone who got all 10 right? Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of the group got 100%. How many missed 1? How many missed 1? 1? Okay, that's 90%. So you see, we're getting even high scores. How many missed 2? 80%, 70%, 3.
I just skipped the ones that I didn't attend.
No problem, but she wasn't here, so, you know, it's really understandable. She wasn't here Sunday when we did our heavy drilling. Anybody miss 4? 5? You missed 5? No. So you see, Wilkinson is right. Everybody usually gets A's, B's, or at the lowest a C. And this is really fast, right? This is since Sunday we've been drilling. So you'll see if you go about the methodology, and it isn't as though we've done any homework. Yes,
I underlined.
you forgot to underline.
Not forgot, I don't remember what to underline.
You underline any phonogram, like from on. There are more than one letter, means I have to show that by underlining it. It means I see this as a group. If they're not underlined, they're separate phonograms. So the underlining is critical. It's critical. So you have 6 phonograms that are fixed combinations in this first test. 4 that are not. Okay? So far everybody got an A or a B, or 100%, A+. That's good. All right, are we ready to study the second column? Now, this should go a little faster because hopefully the lizard doesn't come into the picture. Okay, 2 minutes? You know, the lizard gave you guys a little break. Actually, you thought he was a botheration, but he was helping out. Okay, study the next row. Kusa, ulta, ers in worship, ao, uyu, that you cannot use. Edita, I, the 3 letter I, and O is in toe. Okay, 2 minutes to practice for your second test. Are you doing Nityananda? Tough test, huh? Is it hard? No. Smart little boy, huh? Two sounds. K. K. That's good thinking. Thanks, Umesh. You can help them. Okay. Second phonogram. Repeat after you hear it. Ooh. The third phonogram, repeat it. T, t, t. Consonant T. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting to designate those. The fourth phonogram is the vowel sound. Listen carefully, then repeat. E. The next phonogram is a fixed combination. which means it must be underscored. As in worship. Everyone say? As in worship. It's easy to forget, but all four senses simultaneously must be employed. Hearing, seeing, saying as we write. That strengthens retention. That's half of them already. The next phonogram is a fixed combination. Be sure to underscore it. This phonogram is ow-o. Ow-o. Again, if you're in doubt or you absolutely don't know, put a line through the space so you don't lose your order. Because then if you start putting them in the wrong place, then you'll miss out everything from that point on. The next phonogram is a fixed combination, oo, you, that we cannot use at the end of an English word. Let's repeat, ooh, you, that we cannot use at the end of an English word. Our next phonogram, another fixed combination. Always go down to your X's. You should be going across. The baseline should be across all the way the page. Our next fixed combination, 3 sounds. Repeat. Ed, d, t. Ed, d, t. Okay. Next phonogram is fixed combination. I, the 3-letter I.
I, the 3-letter I.
Be sure to underscore fixed combinations. Actually, almost 60% of these are fixed combinations. All right, the next phonogram, the last of the second test. O as in toe. Again, one last look at your phonograms before you check them. Make sure you underscored any phonogram that's more than one letter. And it is as you wanted it to be. Okay? So now take out your phonogram sheet and check for your results. If the phonogram is incorrect, put a tiny little X next to it. You may check now. Yes, check. Check to see how you did. Check, yes. Give yourself your score. If it's perfect, no X's. If you missed one, either you didn't underline it or you used the wrong letter combination, put a little X after that so you know what your second score is. Perfect is 100%, missing 1 is 90, 2 80%, 3 would be 70%, and 4 60 and on down.
Please 10 come in one line.
It's good to take a 10 question, 10 item test because it's easy.
Oh. Is upper zone, middle zone, and
Oh, it does, yeah, it touches the lower lines, yes, that's right. We're using these guidelines because that helps us get the right proportion of upper, middle, lower zone. Later, she just has you trying to do that within a space, but that's too hard for beginners. Slowly, yeah. No passion. It has to be neat. It has to be very neat.
use 2 tools. While writing only one word. Only middle zone, how she is writing. Correct. See, straight.
Yes, the line should be drawn very slowly, not just... Okay, should be just even, uniform. Perfect. All right? Are we ready to take our... No, let's see a show of hands. Did anyone score 100%?
Zone and below zone, no?
Wow. That's better than last time. 100%. Did anyone score 90%? 90%.
No problem. I think next page you can do that.
All right, that means you missed 1. Did anyone score 80%? That means you missed 2. Spelling is correct. Writing will get improved with practice. Did anyone get 70%? 3 are wrong. Anyone miss more than 3?
I'll keep missing 4.
No problem, because she hasn't been here. And you also weren't here on Sunday. So they didn't get, we had a heavy drill. It was like non-stop.
I wrote it big.
You got them right?
No, I said I wrote it so big.
Too big? I can't.
I said,
Use 1 space per zone.
no, I just showed the first B to you. I thought you didn't say anything, so that's how I
But from here, I can't see what's happening. It's just, that's why the magic slates are helpful, because I can't.
I'll write on another page then.
No problem, if you want to switch to another page. All right, now we're ready to study the 3rd row. 2 minutes, and now we're just going to go fast. Everybody's got the idea. Be ready, get set, go. First phonogram, put your papers away. First phonogram, now we're going to move fast. First phonogram, everybody repeat, duh. Write it quickly. Duh. Make sure you put all the positions right, okay? Not just quickly in anything. You should be running the mantra through your mind. 2, 10, 8, 4. Next phonogram. Next phonogram. That's actually, you should feel it vibrating on the upper lip. It really does vibrate. It hurts.
So disappointed.
Okay, next phonogram. If I. The vowel sound if I. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting to say consonant vowel. If the vowel sound if I. He has to go. His mom leaves him.
Somebody came.
Beg your pardon?
Sorry, his mother and somebody came. They want to meet.
He's having a test right now.
Wait. Go back.
You know, this is the thing about school. You just can't, your relatives just can't pop in. Next, the fixed combination, as in early. As in, everybody repeat, as in early. Next combination, difficult. 4 sounds, repeat them. Ow, o, oo, Be sure you underscore these fixed combinations. He'll need some practice with how to hold his pencil also, his grip. Nicely. Our next phonogram, difficult. Listen carefully. Oo, o. Have to listen to the position of the sounds, because many of them will make the same sounds, but they're just in a different sequence. You have to listen to the position and the sequence to know which phonogram is being referred to. This is oo, o. Next phonogram, fixed combination, easy one. Or. Be sure you underscore all fixed combinations. Or. This is one of the very easy fixed combinations. Or. Okay. Next combination, A, the 4-letter A.
A, the
4-letter A. And the last phonogram in this 10 phonogram quiz is G as in ghost. G as in ghost. Fixed combination. This completes the third of 7 quizzes. So now take a moment, check your work. If the phonogram is incorrect, put a small X next to it. And then check on your paper to see how can I improve next time if I missed one. Okay? Is he feeling sick? Hey, see? Our next, how many, all right, if we had time to check, how many received a perfect score? Good show of hands. Good, very nice. That's 100%. How many received 90%? That means only one error. All right, 90%, that's an A. 100% is A plus. This is still an A. How many received 80%? That means 2 mistakes. Very good, that's a B. That's still a good grade. How many received 70%? 3 mistakes. Okay, anybody make more than 3 mistakes? That's all right, you're exempt. But everybody else who's had the drills is getting 80s, 90s, and 100s. You see, scores are high. Teach this way, your children, it happens every time. You see in the beginning of Wilkinson's book, people whose children average C's, D's, and F's. Within 1 semester, grades went up to A's, B's, and C's. It's almost guaranteed. All right, you now have a few minutes to study the 4th row. So please study. I'll give you 2 minutes to study and then we have the test. Everything quiet? Put your phonogram sheet under your test paper. Let's show everyone you're ready. First phonogram. Listen carefully, then repeat. The consonant phonogram. The first phonogram, consonant phonogram. The next phonogram, consonant phonogram. The tongue now is up against the roof. The lips are not together. This is The next phonogram, wa. Wa.
Wow.
Wa. Be sure you remember now how we did these, because they all have a special way, especially this one. We don't lift the pencil. The 4th phonogram is the vowel sound. Listen carefully. Ah, o, u. Ah, o, u. Ah, o, u. Okay. Next phonogram. Sh. The plain one. From here on in, we have fixed combinations. Be sure you underline them. Otherwise, it's incorrect. Our next phonogram, repeat, oi that we can use at the end of an English word. And we do not say the two-letter oi, because there is no one-letter oi. So it's just oi that we can use at the end of an English word. Our next phonogram, listen carefully. 3 sounds. Ch, k, sh. Ch, k, sh. Again, be sure to underline fixed combinations. Our next phonogram, we have to feel this one as it's said. Hua. Hua. There's a little bit of an H sound before we say this. Hua. And you can feel it on your hand. Hua. 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 Okay, our next phonogram. The two-letter N, the tall one. The two-letter N, the tall one. And the last one. Shh. The tall one. You just have to say shh, the tall one. As soon as you complete your phonograms, go over them carefully to be sure you underscored more than one that has more than one letter, and mark your results. Shh, the tall one. Shh, the tall one. Okay, it's going pretty quickly now. Please, as soon as you finish checking your scores, you put your little X if you've made a mistake, so you'll know what to study. All right? Please raise your hand if you have 100%. Very good. Raise your hand if you have 90%. That means one mistake. Okay. Raise your hand if you have 80%. 2 mistakes. Raise your hand if you have 70. 3 mistakes. Anything more than 70? Lower than 70? Usually we don't go lower than that. Usually pretty good. The idea is we revise until everybody gets 100% all the time. Indelible. No, because this is the core for spelling. If they have these, they can spell almost any word. All right? Now, you go to the next page of your paper, your test paper. Turn it. Oh, I'm sorry. We need time to make the crosses. Remember, you start from the red line, and you count 1, 2, X. And then 1, 2, X. 1, 2x. So go down the page. 1, 2x. You need at least 3 columns. We have 3 more tests. You can do a 4th. Row. Okay? Two minutes to study. In the test? Your first phonogram? Is the consonant good? Good. The consonant? Good. Our next phonogram, consonant sound, p, p, p. The next phonogram, consonant sound, the fast one. Be sure you say that. The fast one. The next phonogram is the vowel sound. A, U, Repeat. A, U, Our next phonogram, fixed combination, E, double E. Everybody should repeat. E, double E is your right. And please follow the mantras for the formation of each phonogram. 2, 10, 8, 4, straight lines, whatever. In your mind, you should make sure that your letter formation every time reinforces good habits. Habits are hard to break, therefore we make good ones. If you make bad habits, then you have to break them. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about Juilliard School of Music. Yes, that's such a powerful example. Our next phonogram, fixed combination. Oi that we cannot use at the end of an English word. Oi that we cannot use at the end of an English word. The next phonogram, fixed combination, ng. Next phonogram, fixed combination, n. The two-letter n, the short one. N. The two-letter n, the short one. And the last phonogram in this quiz, fixed combination, listen carefully, then repeat. Sh, z. 2 sounds. Very good. If you didn't, at least go back and some people caught that. I didn't catch it, sorry. Okay, please give yourself a score. All right. Are we done scoring our work? Can we have a show? May we have a show of hands of anyone that scored 100%? 100%. All right, 90%. Show of hands, 90%. That means 1 error. Okay, 80%, 2 errors. 80%. And you had 100%. Okay, 80%, you have 2 mistakes? 2 mistakes. 70%? 60? 50? See, everybody's getting either 80, 90, 100. Very good. And this is with very little drilling, really, 1 day intensive. All right, we now have 2 minutes to study the next row. We have only 2 more rows. 2 minutes. Please study quickly. Vishamati, could you also help Nityananda here? Listen carefully, then repeat the phonogram consonant. The next phonogram is a consonant. It requires an underscore. Qu. Qu. The phonogram consonant qu. Our next phonogram is sometimes a consonant, sometimes a vowel. Yep, it, I. Say.
Yep, it, I.
The first sound is consonant, the second 2 sounds are vowel. Yep, it, I. Our next phonogram, a fixed combination from here on in, as in her. Everyone repeat. As in her. Our next phonogram, listen carefully, fixed combination. Please say. This also vibrates down, this on the lower lip. Our next phonogram is a fixed combination. Listen carefully. Ah, that we can use at the end of an English word. Ah, that we can use at the end of an English word. Ah. Our next phonogram, 3 vowel sounds. Listen carefully. E, A. E, A. 3 vowel sounds to this phonogram, fixed combination. Our next phonogram, one of the more challenging ones. Have to listen carefully. It's a fixed combination. A, E, I. A, E, I. The first sound is A, then E, then I. Third sound is, yes, it's like a hiccup. The last one, remember there were 3, there were hiccups at the end. A, E, I. The next phonogram, we roll the sound. R, the 2-letter R.
There's still 9, there's something else which is
There's one more. Did I skip one again? There's one more. There's one more. And the last phonogram in this quiz, shh, the short one. Shh, the short one. You sure you haven't gone back to underline any phonograms that are more than 1 letter? And if you didn't know one, just put a line through the space so we don't get the sequence wrong. As soon as you complete the task, check your score. Small x after any that are incorrect. Have you all marked your scores? All right, how many If any received a perfect score, good, show of hands. One mistake, that's a 90. Good. Two mistakes, that's 80. Two mistakes? Three mistakes, 70. Anybody make more than three mistakes? That's all right. It's too bad you weren't here Sunday. We really worked hard that day. That was the day we did it all. All right, we have our last quiz. You have 2 minutes to study the last test. Tanvi, is there a problem? No? Okay, just turn around then. Okay. Our first phonogram. Put your test paper over your phonograms so you cannot see them. Cover them up. This is the last quiz strip. Test number 7. We've had 7 quizzes today. Usually this is very fast. All 70 are done and out of order. But today this is a good preliminary, I think, examination, and we want to hand these over to Sri Ananta, so the principal of this program, so that he can sleep well from here on in. Our first phonogram is J, the consonant sound J. J. Everyone say it loudly. J. Write it. Sit quietly, Nityananda. Okay. The next phonogram, roll the sound. R. Say it as you write. R. The next consonant phonogram, say as you write. Z. The next fixed combination, say as you write, as in first. As in first. Now often in India you'll hear people say fust, but that for spelling isn't going to work. So if at least for spelling you should pronounce it as helps them. And then if there's a traditional way to say it, that's all right. But she will insist on in spelling to say the word so that the child gets the sound. That's the important thing. What you want to do with your pronunciation, that we don't question. But for spelling, you say first, not fust. You don't say as in fust. Doesn't work.
What is the right pronunciation?
Well, the traditional pronunciation in India and I guess in British is fust. But that will not help for spelling. So Spalding addresses that, often in cases where, for instance, if there are two consonants together and you don't sound the second one, like sup, her. You sound the second one for spelling, even though for pronunciation you only sound one. So the point here is to have the child hear the sound. And so if it's an incorrect one, if you're saying as in first, but you say as in fust, then it doesn't make sense. You understand that?
Americans roll their R's.
No. The reason the R is rolled is so that it's not confused with the phonogram AR. They do not roll the R. The Spanish do that. Sombrero. And Y, like J, is like yeah. So the Spanish will roll the R. And the U.S., she just does this so we don't confuse it with AR, that's all. But basically if we say R like Radharani, we don't go Radharani, Maybe they do in South America, Radharani, but we don't do that. And these are regional differences. It doesn't really affect the Spalding that much. There aren't that many. Okay. So we said isn't first, that was the last one. All right, the next phonogram is A, the two-letter A that we can use at the end of an English word. Please say all of that. A, the two-letter A that we can use at the end of an English word.
Which can or which can?
That we can use. This is the one that you use at the end of an English word.
Not is finished to the first one.
Right. The next fixed combination is aw, that we cannot use at the end of an English word. Aw, that we cannot use at the end of an English word. The next phonogram is the easy one, R. R. Please say it. R. See, that's why we roll it, because otherwise they would think it's just one letter. Our next phonogram, a difficult one. Fixed combination, this is hard one. E, A, I. It's a hiccup one of the three hiccup phonograms. E, A, I. The next one, the two-letter, let's say, the two-letter, and please underscore all fixed combinations. Our last phonogram, 6 sounds, O, U, up, off, off, ow. Everyone say? O, U, off, 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 ow. O, U, up, off. Aw, ow. Aw, ow. And ow. Ow. All right, quickly check your scores. And you're not done yet. I'm going to put you through one more thing. I hate to do it, but honestly, if we try to cover everything that I would love to share with you before you go home. We only have tomorrow and the next day in the afternoon, and then 2 short morning sessions. That's all. And so much to do. We have to cover the